It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you. We made it to Friday. It's going to be a great weekend. So let's kick it off with a little news.
Yeah, there was a shootout in Springfield this week between neighbors. Happened on the west side of town, right by West Justin Expressway and Scenic on Homewood Avenue. Apparently, a man wasn't happy that his neighbor was outside yelling for their little dog right before midnight. So he went outside and fired 2 shots from his rifle at them. The neighbor grabbed a shotgun and fired back. No one was hit, but one of the people yelling for the dog apparently had a hole in his sweatshirt that he thought was from a bullet grazing his arm. You don't know if it was for sure, but the man who fired the rifle was arrested and the other neighbors were not.
Well, they did find some some bullet holes in a shed that the 2 people, the neighbors who were yelling for the dog, were in front of at the time. So that's how police knew that it happened.
I am definitely glad that wasn't my neighbors, because I know I've yelled for my dog at like a super crazy early hour.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I don't want to do it, but I'm like, I gotta go, so anyway, it was, all right. Glad nobody was hurt. A lot of folks thought it would never happen, but believe it or not, Kansas Expressway is about to open. The extension is about to open. That's exciting. It opens tonight. The new portion will connect Republic Road south to Weaver Road. That stretch opens at 6 o'clock tonight. And then next Friday, week from today, the new stretch of Kansas Expressway between Weaver Road and Plainview will open. So that's exciting. Phase 2 will go from Plainview to Farm Road 190, and that one is expected to be completed in fall of next year.
It's crazy to think that it's actually happening. We've been in the news. We've been talking about that, like the possibility of that happening for so long.
Yes.
So long we've been talking about that. And now it's tonight's the night. It'll open up. Yep. You can drive it. And next Friday, drive more of it.
Hey, so maybe we can go on a hot date tonight and drive Kansas Expressway. We can loiter. Along Kansas Expressway. You want to?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Can't wait.
Former U.S. Senator and First Lady of Missouri, Jean Carnahan, has passed away. She was famously appointed to the U.S. Senate after her husband, former Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan, was posthumously elected to the Senate after he was killed in a plane crash in 2000. Jean Carnahan passed away after a brief illness this week. She was 90 years old. And what a life. She never planned on having the life that she ended up having. You imagine that your husband is running for the U.S. Senate and you lose him. He dies suddenly, is killed. And then he gets elected and they appoint you to his spot. That would be, what a whirlwind that would be to find yourself in that position all of a sudden. Speaking of politics, Missouri Democrats are holding a hybrid election for their primary this year. Some mail-in voting, some in-person voting. The presidential primary is set for March 23rd, but starting right now, Democrats can request that mail-in ballot. In-person voting will then be held 8 a.m. to noon on March 23rd.
I don't like it.
I don't like mail-in at all.
I don't like it one bit.
Right.
All right. I don't get a choice in the matter, as it turns out, in this democracy. Since it has been warmer this week, you may have been out enjoying the great outdoors. I certainly was. And you might have noticed some of the trails that were at Siquiota Park closed down due to the beavers. I actually saw this yesterday. I spent a lot of time at Siquiota Park yesterday with my children. It was great fun. And there are indeed lots of trees that the beavers have eaten. So this is the tree trunk. This is the tree trunk with a big beaver hole in it. And so they could fall at any time. So that's what they do. They eat trees. And then the park rangers come and take them out because they don't want them to fall on top of the people who are running by. So they are going to be reopening the trails as they can get the ones that are about to fall over cleared out of there.
And just for the record, before people email you and Facebook comments, they don't actually eat the trees. You know that.
Well, they gnaw.
They
They
gnaw the
gnaw.
trees. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe they don't like eat the wood, but they certainly gnaw through it. So
Correct.
I think
Correct.
people are tracking with me, sir.
I don't know.
The Ozark Police Department is sitting pretty on some Harley Davidson motorcycles that were just donated to the force. 3 of them, in fact, from California, of all places. There's a police department out there who wasn't using them anymore, so they sent them our way. Right now, the Ozark Department has only 1 officer qualified to ride, but the other officers will go through training and then get certified. Interestingly, I saw a motorcycle cop yesterday in Ozark with a car pulled over. Interestingly, it actually looked like a Springfield police officer, which I know is not possible. Yes, I know all the jurisdictional rules, but it was on NN, and it had to be the Ozark police officer, but I know their badges pretty well because I have, covered a few crime stories in my day. And I was like, man, that looks like a Springfield officer, but I guess it was Ozark, but he was on a Harley. So there you go.
Huh.
I know.
That's the one that can ride.
Maybe it is the one to, like, honk at him and be like, woo! Like, that's exciting. He's probably like, yes, I just pulled over my first car on my Harley.
I'm sure the person in the car being pulled over is thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ride a motorcycle, then you got to be loving the last couple of days. You're like, finally.
Or a bicycle, for that matter.
Winter has abated just a little bit, and I could get out there and enjoy it I know winter's coming back.
Yeah. What about your bicycling wife?
You didn't ride, did you?
Yesterday.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm working for a living, so I don't know what you're doing.
I know. You know what is funny? You called me right before I was going. I actually had my gear on, and I felt guilty. I was like, my husband is sitting in an office right now. I hope he has a window. That's what I was thinking. I did. I thought about you. I like loved you deeply, but I also didn't want to be like, well, I'm going to go ride my bicycle. You know what I mean?
Thank you for not telling me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Interest rates are still high, as you know, but they're not getting any higher right now. So we got that going for us, which is nice. The Federal Reserve decided to keep them where they are as they work to fight inflation that has been pummeling the American family for a couple of years now. Interest rate has been between 5.25% and 5.5% since the summer. But before that, we all remember this. It increased 11 consecutive times since March of 2022. It is currently now the highest it's been in more than 2 decades. So it didn't get any higher. So we'll take that as a win for now. And this is something, if you're following this at all. But Missouri State University basketball legend Jackie Stiles was just knocked down now to number 4 on the NCAA women's basketball all-time scoring list. Why? Well, current phenom Caitlin Clark at Iowa, she's really incredible. She jumped from 4th place on that list all the way up to 2nd place during one game this week.
That's impressive.
She scored 35 points during one game this week in a win over Northwestern. And that is not rare at all for her. In fact, she scored a 45 already this year. She is now Caitlin Clark is now about 100 points away from becoming the all-time scoring leader in the NCAA Division I and has 8 regular season games left to do it. So barring injury, it will happen.
That's really cool.
She's currently on a streak of 5 straight 30-plus point scoring games. She shoots from so far. If you haven't seen any highlights of her, just go to YouTube or something and search Caitlin Clark. She's incredible. The distance from which she shoots the ball, the defenders sometimes are like, yeah, go ahead, shoot it from there. You can't. And then she makes it like perfect swish.
Wow.
With people in her face, falling to the side. She's a scorer. It's fun to watch. I
Cool.
now record Iowa women's basketball games, which I've never done before.
Who are you?
But I do. Griffin and I
just
watched
when play. I thought it. You know what? Just when I thought I knew him.
Griffin and
Just
I
like
watch her
that.
play. She's unbelievable.
Overnight. You guys happen overnight.
I didn't get to see Jackie Stiles whenever she played here.
I know, I didn't either. And now
I
we know
wish
her, and she's so sweet.
Right,
I
right.
know. I wish we would have known. I mean, I knew she was cool. I didn't know how big of a deal until, Around the Ozarks taught me today, in fact.
Oh, good heavens. Well, no, she's an incredibly big deal. She's number
Oh,
3
no,
on
I
the
know. I mean,
scoring list.
everybody and their dog got to watch her play except for
Yeah.
us. We weren't here yet.
I
So,
wish that I could have seen her play, yeah.
yeah, it would have been fun. Two well-known successful female athletes are in Springfield today. Swimmer Riley Gaines and surfer Bethany Hamilton are both in town, hosting a story hour at the Library Center in Springfield at 4:00 this afternoon. Hamilton, you might remember her. She's a professional surfer who had a movie made about her life when a shark bit off her arm. Wow. And then Riley Gaines is a former All-American collegiate swimmer. Both of them very outspoken for supporting and protecting women's sports. They argue that biological males should not be allowed to compete in women's athletics. People who feel otherwise are planning to protest today their appearance. Gaines and Hamilton are both authors who will be reading from their respective books. I can tell you, my 6th grader got word that they were in town and she wants to go. So maybe.
Well, yeah, the girls have seen, I think all the kids have seen the movie, Soul Surfer, I think is what the movie's called, about Bethany. And then our girls are both swimmers, so they know Riley Gaines from swimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of them has written a paper on Riley Gaines. So anyway, so we might do that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what our day holds. It'll be interesting. All right, now to this. This is kind of fun. The Missouri legislature is debating whether Springfield cashew chicken should be Missouri's official state dish. We told you about it a while back. State Representative Jamie Gregg of Ozark is the one who put the legislation through. We'll see. We haven't talked about this part, though. There's another bill also kind of highlighting the Ozarks, not just the famous dish, but it wants to name Branson as the live entertainment capital of Missouri. I feel like that one's in the bag. Nobody else is competing for that. Now, favorite dish, I don't know, because you got Kansas City barbecue is what comes to mind.
Yeah.
And then doesn't St. Louis have some kind of like,
well,
the Hill? I remember going to the Hill with you. Is that a thing?
The ice cream cone was invented in St. Louis during the 1904 World's Fair, and toasted ravioli is a very popular thing that was, I think it was also that's a St. Louis product. St. Louis is known for that. There's also ribs, St. Louis style ribs. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. As great a dish and as well known as Springfield cashew chicken is, because it is well known across the country.
Do you think it is? Yeah, I was wondering if it's as known as like KC barbecue. I feel like it's not.
Well,
but that might only be because I've only ever lived here. So I'm like, oh, well, I only know it because I live here. But that's not true. Like maybe other people know it,
Yes, other people know it. They sell it in other cities, but I don't know. It's going to be tough in the legislature because there are also representatives from St. Louis and from Kansas City who are voting on this.
Right.
So I doubt that one's going to get through. But the live entertainment capital of Missouri,
I feel like it's in the bag, right?
Yeah. Well, in the bag is tough because, again, there are others. I saw somebody saying, then we're picking winners and losers. And, I'm like, oh, for real?
You guys, not everybody gets a trophy.
I know. That's
because
the mentality.
then the trophy means nothing. It doesn't mean anything if everybody gets one.
Well, in this case, they're not giving any trophies. It wouldn't be giving everybody a trophy. Nobody would get a trophy because we can't all get trophies. All right. Anyway, tomorrow's a big day for a lot of people who have been suffering through winter, myself included, although the last week hasn't been bad. I could admit that. Tomorrow marks the midway point of winter. Tomorrow will be halfway through official winter. Now, the good news is that typically the weather starts to feel like the next season before the official start of that next season. think back to winter. It started to feel like winter before, and finally it's officially
Yeah,
winter.
we
and
got you. We got you. We're
you're like,
aware.
holy crap. It's just now winter.
He
I've
just
been
said, "Holy
freezing
crap."
for a
If I would
month.
have said that, we would have turned off the podcast and he would have yelled at me. I just need you to know that right now.
Yeah, I yell at you a lot.
Well, I mean, his yelling goes something like this, Sarah. No.
She likes to say I yell at her.
Well,
I'm
that's
like, do you understand what people hear you say whenever that?
sorry.
Anyway,
Lisa Rose can attest. Ethan's not a yeller. He's like right here. Right here.
anyway, may I finish?
Sure.
I'm about to start yelling. The good news is that spring, it'll start to feel like spring before it's actually official spring. So while March 19th is the official start to spring, we're going to start making that change early, which makes me very, very happy. Now I'm done.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I love it.
Yeah.
It was just funny because you were like taking your time to explain something that we know.
I don't know that everybody knows that. They don't. They may know it, but they haven't thought about it. That's why I'm here.
All right. Well, I felt like we all knew that.
That's why I'm
because
here.
sometimes I do take time to explain things, but sometimes it's just not necessary. That's all. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, let me tell you. Listen, if you're done, you're done. You can turn it off. But if you want to win,
do you mind if I
some
turn it off?
money- No, you don't have an option. But if you want to win some money and some tickets, then you need to stick around and let me give you a 30-second spiel. Around the Ozarks has 2 contests going on right now. Both of them are worth playing. First of all, will you be Around the Ozarks Valentine? It's sweet. It's fun. You get $50 for a dinner date for you and your sweetheart, plus a $25 gift card to Alamo Drafthouse. So you can go to dinner and a movie on us. That's awesome. Also, the Sertoma Chili Cook-Off is coming up, and the winners will receive a pair of tickets to go to the Chili Cook-Off, which is a rite of passage if you live in this town. It is so fun, so good, and it raises money for the Sertoma Club, which does great work. So
Sertoma
we hope
Club
that you
does
will,
a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that you'll play in our contest because your odds are very good. And just go to aroundtheozarks.com, click on contest. Otherwise, download our app. You can play from there as well. It's a free download in your app store, Around the Ozarks. And there's all sorts of local podcast and local content on the app. So
that is true.
Won't you be our Valentine and do those 2 things for us?
That's true. Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Okay. Well, that wraps it up for Friday. Another week.
You guys, it's February.
Another week down.
February 2nd already. Here we go. Happens fast. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, I'm good.
I was feisty tonight. I don't know what happened. It's gonna be a great weekend.
It's gonna be a great day. Yeah.
Looking
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, or see you Monday.